what are we seeing on the chart? A massive move up, a massive beat on earnings. The stock's up over 20%, trading at $331 per share. So if we take a look at the chart here and we see what we have going on.
Bitcoinzilla stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoinzilla today and enjoy the new edge. Gareth Soloway unveils his latest Bitcoin and crypto price predictions, spotlighting key market trends and strategies. We'll dive into his technical analysis. Join us to discover his insights on market moves.
Let's see here. You can see that, again, we have to zoom way, way out. Here's a high. This is at 325, though. The problem is the stock's already above that high. So as a technician, I don't even pay any attention to that. I say, okay, well, it's above that. So where's my next level? And to find that, we have to go all the way back over here, right? So the question being is that at what level over here could there be resistance? Now, the only thing I'm seeing, so there's a couple, but the most recent one that would be above current price. See this little low right here where price came down, and I'm going to zoom in even more. Came down, popped, pulled back again, popped, and then finally broke down. That to me stands out as a technical level, which is right around 350. So while this stock is still, a decent amount away from that level, that would be a potential trading opportunity for me, followed by this level right here. If we grab a trend line, there was a former gap fill and little pivot top at 372. So in terms of day trading, this would be a day trading one potentially for me today. On a swing trading basis, I might nibble at this 371, 372 level. I'll have to see again how it gets there. But those would be your two levels on Monday.com as it has its monster move here on earnings. It's quite a move. Impressive move. All right, let's flip over to Bitcoin. Taking a look at Bitcoin today, it is catching a small bid. Just to go over to the big board to discuss just a little bit here. What we can see here is, again, we are looking at a range-bound Bitcoin chart, right? So again, you had this upper trend line here, which was sloping up. The only reason I've kept that on my charts is because if we ever break above 108 to 109 right here, then that becomes our target, right? So that becomes a very clear level where we can see, right? So this yellow line right here, it was support, right? So it kind of was support here, and then it broke down and it became resistance. And so the concept is that what was support and resistance prior will again become potentially support or resistance. And that's how technicians trade. And so the idea being here is that if at some point this rallies up and takes out this level here on the Bitcoin chart, then this line here, price would look to be there and then get rejected off of that. Again, thinking 5 steps ahead since it hasn't broken above, but that's why I've been keeping that yellow line there. Aside from that, in terms of range trading, really, again, from this high right here, we've been down, we've been up to here, we kind of came down to here again. So it's really, this is the range. You have this line here, and then this bottom line right through here, and all we're seeing on Bitcoin is chop. Now, the question is it bullish consolidation? Maybe it is. And right now, you would probably go with that angle as long, and this is key, as long as you don't break 92,000, 91,000 with confirmation. If that breaks, then this sideways choppy pattern off of the big run up, which again, this is a bull flag, right? Up, sideways chop like this, right? That's bullish consolidation. In general, it leads to further upside. But the idea being is that if this gets violated, like imagine if price here all of a sudden started to go like that. Now that flag pattern is broken. It's now broken to the downside. So as long as you maintain this inside area here, up and down, within, let's say, 109 to 92, 91,000, then this would, again, be bullish consolidation. But no, always know, if it breaks, changes the picture, right? You have to remember that, folks, is that patterns are not infallible, just like no trader is infallible. We all take losses. It's the nature of the beast. What we're trying to do is be the casino where we win over the longer term on a majority of trades versus the gambler that comes in and they can play and occasionally win, but in general, the casino wins, right? So we want to be that casino. We want to be winning a majority of the time, and that's why we follow technical analysis. When you follow FOMO, sure, you might hit a home run every once in a while, but in general, the markets play off of that. In fact, institutions have found algorithmic ways to trigger sell signals when they notice too much excitement in one thing. Like they'll let it run up, they let that play out, and then when it hits that high level, they know sell right into it, the top is in, and they'll just drive it down. And then what takes over, right? The panic, the fear. And then everyone starts dumping, and they're just riding that along all the way down.
Bitcoin remains above the critical $95,000 threshold, even after experiencing the largest intraday selling event since 2022. The price briefly dipped to $94,726 on February 9, but staged a swift recovery, according to data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro. Despite the heavy sell pressure, analysts suggest this resilience could signal a wave of seller exhaustion. The previous event of this magnitude occurred during the collapse of Three Arrows Capital, which had a disastrous ripple effect on multiple crypto lenders. Yet Bitcoin's price continues to hover near the $95,000 mark, defying bearish expectations. Fears of an impending drop center on the $93,000 support level, as a break below it could trigger liquidations worth $1.7 billion across major exchanges. This scenario arises from increasing market leverage, which intensifies downward pressure whenever Bitcoin's price approaches critical thresholds. Ryan Lee, chief analyst at Bitchit Research, identifies $91,500 as the next likely target if the $93,000 mark fails to hold. Continued escalation in trade tensions, sparked by new U.S. and Chinese import tariffs, adds to the uncertainty and could push Bitcoin below $90,000 in the short term. Market participants are closely watching for any positive signal that might alleviate these concerns. Hopes have turned to the delayed meeting between President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, which was intended to address escalating trade tensions. If negotiations offer a breakthrough, sentiment could shift, allowing Bitcoin to secure its current range. Until then, uncertainty remains high, and traders remain vigilant for any signs of a deeper correction.
We can actually see that following Friday's drop, right? And this is Friday's drop to the downside. The markets, the futures are trading neutral to higher. Now, we're not recovering all of that drop that came on the back of Friday, but we certainly are coming back up decently and kind of almost shrugging off this additional tariff news today. And again, I think this is something we want to watch very closely. Is this retail that is kind of bidding the market up into the open? Will we see those institutional big money sellers dumping into it? Or will the markets hold their gains today and continue to grind back up and test the all-time highs? All right, so let's go to that bigger chart. This is the daily chart of the S&P 500 or SPY, and the levels remain the same, much like they have for the last week or so. What we clearly see is this high going back to December is still the high to beat, right? We have a trend line, goes right across. We tested it here, and we came close right there before the Friday sell-off. Before that sell-off on Friday, it looked like it could be being tested, but by the end of Friday, we saw a steep decline. Now we're trading back up in this range, not that far from those levels. Now, just a reminder, our major earnings are mostly over, but, and this is the key, we still have NVIDIA coming up in a couple weeks, but we do have PPI and CPI data this week. So inflation data, which will be focused on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning of this week, that will be big for the market in terms of the inflation guide for where these numbers are going to go. So ultimately, what are we looking at here? All right, so if we start to dump out more, we have this lower trend line here. This one extends back months and months, in fact, almost a year. And then we have this level up here, which will be resistance. So support, and then we have resistance right here. If this line breaks, then you have to assume we're headed up towards this secondary level up there, the extension of this trend line to the upside. I believe that's around 6,325 on the S&P 500. If it comes down here, this should be expected to be support, but it's been hammered on many, many times. At some point, if we break that, that's where the floodgates would open. So I just want to point this out, folks, is that as a technician, you want to be aware of when the markets are kind of trading in a zone or a range. That's where we are right now, right? We're just kind of chopping in and out of this area here. Below here, that's where the concern for the downside really starts to be major. And then above here, you get that next leg up into that upper trend line.
Michael Saylor, co-founder of Strategy, shared a new Bitcoin chart on X after a brief hiatus from his usual Sunday posts. The visuals signaled his persistent bullish stance as he declared, "Death to the blue lines. Long live the green dots," implying a renewed sense of optimism. Observers speculated that another Bitcoin purchase might be announced soon, given the company's long-standing commitment to adding BTC to its balance sheet. According to Saylor Tracker, Strategy currently holds 471,107 BTC, worth about $45.3 billion, following its latest buy of 10,107 BTC on January 27. Despite a recent rebrand from MicroStrategy, the company's ethos remains deeply tethered to Bitcoin and artificial intelligence. During an earnings call, executives stated that revenue from Strategy's software business stood at $120.7 million, while the firm reported a $640 million loss for the quarter. Undeterred by quarterly losses, Strategy made bold moves in Q4 2024, adding over 195,000 BTC, the company's most extensive acquisition during that period. Analysts pointed to potential digital asset legislation in the United States, broader political support, and improved Bitcoin exchange-traded fund products as promising catalysts in 2025. The management team suggests that institutional adoption could further accelerate Bitcoin's next phase of growth. Shares of Strategy currently trade around $327, around 40% lower than their November 2024 peak at $543. Despite lingering in a range since then, the stock has maintained its position above the 200-day exponential moving average, supporting the company's steadfast optimism. Shareholders and Bitcoin enthusiasts continue to watch Strategy's every move for developments. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.